Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rcha Korash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that well. Peace and blessings to the elected nation Israel. Back at it again with another lesson through the spirit of power of Yahweh, Bahasham Shai. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I'm the brother Ottawa, just getting straight to it through the spirit. And this is just a response to the elder Apostle Gabar lesson he made earlier today, or technically yesterday, But nonetheless, the title of the lesson, which I dropped it in the link in the description box of this video. The title of the lesson is Grains, Added Sugars, Seed Oils, and Wheat. Do it now. See great benefits. And when you watch the elder's lesson, okay, he goes into why you want to abstain or refrain from what he made the acronym with GSSW. Okay, G as in grains, S as in seed oils, the other S as in sugars, and the W as in wheat, right? And the elder is going to go into it in specific details on what to abstain from and the things to look into, because he didn't make a discrepancy about wheat and how wheat is mentioned in the scriptures, but a lot of the wheat is not conducive to our quote unquote diets today in these times, because our bread is defiled, which we will get into. But what really sparked my spirit to do this lesson was that I watched the elder's lesson earlier, okay, and then I was scrolling through social media, and I came across this video, and I said to myself, wow, that's the spirit, okay, a prophet indeed. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. Just get straight to it. Lord willing, lessons edifying. Let's get it. Hold on. Let me play it. Let me play it back.
University in Rhode Island.
Let me play it back. Give me a second. It says the video that stopped me eating sugar, right? And I was just like, wow, bro, this is the spirit. It's nothing but the spirit. But I'm going to play it.
University in Rhode Island. They're doing studies they think should make a lot of humans nervous. This rat is perfectly healthy. Put him in a vat of water and he finds his way to safety every time.
5.2.
Now, look at this guy. What he's been eating is the equivalent of a North American diet, complete with all the fats and sugars we regularly consume. He doesn't know where to go. His brain has been damaged.
They don't remember their learning after even a day. And as the challenge gets harder and harder, they fail more and more, just like a human with Alzheimer's disease.
36.2.
In this lab, the belief now is that Alzheimer's is really diabetes of the brain, linked to insulin levels, which can be affected by too much sugar.
So you can't tell me that's not the spirit. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that's not the spirit, because the elder literally just went into this earlier, before I seen this video on Instagram. And then, when I came across the video, I was like, bro, that's the spirit, So that's why I got the parentheses, a prophet indeed. Okay. And, it would behoove us to take heed to the words of the men of the Lord, because these words are profitable, as it says in 2 Peter 1, how we have a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well if you take heed. Okay. And the words of the prophets are for edification and for comfort. And, the Lord set up the prophets to be leaders, to instruct us back to the ways of Yahweh Shai, in the right ways of the Lord. Okay. But the point of the matter was, when I seen that, I said, wow, that's the spirit. And it says how this is the result of the experiment on the rats. The result was because of Standard American Diet, which the acronym for Standard American Diet is what? SAD. SAD, sad. All right, and that's exactly what it is. I even seen a post earlier on Instagram as well, where it said how McDonald's chicken nuggets basically have the same chemical in them that they use to create concrete roads, man. Okay, you know. So hey, as the scriptures say, our bread is defiled amongst the Gentiles, man. You know what I'm saying? So we threw out here in Babylon, man, and it's really only through the grace and the mercy of Yahweh Shai that we're able to survive to this very day. Even after all the BS that our bodies have went through and consumed in this captivity. That's it's all it is the grace and the mercy of Yahweh Shai. Okay? But I wanted to go ahead and get the precept to back this up real quick. And I'm gonna go to the book of Salakia. Hold on 1 second, Baruch. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find that post about the chicken nuggets. Right? Which nobody should be eating McDonald's, man. Okay, because not to say too much, but McDonald's, if you eat McDonald's, you're a cannibal. All right. Do your research. The FBI tested McDonald's, and every 9 out of 10 McDonald's tested positive for containing uh cannibalism. I'm gonna put it that way so I could be wise with my words. You see? And really it probably was 10 out of 10, but Esau had to knock down the numbers to make it seem not so bad. But 9 out of 10 is pretty high. That means 90% of McDonald's tested positive. Okay? That's terrible. So here's another post right here. Maybe I could share it to the screen. I should have had this already popped up, but I wasn't really planning on going through this in the spirit. So Lord willing, just give me a second. I could pull this up for edification as well, so you know I'm not making this up. All right. Bear with me. All right, here we go. All right. It says McDonald's chicken nuggets contain the carcinogenic substance thiamine mononitrate or thiamine mononitrate, which is used in construction to hold roads together. So Yahweh Shai is exposing Babylon on all fronts, man. Even down to the standard American diet, man. All right. It says there's a growing concern about certain additives in fast food, one of them being thiamine mononitrate found in products like McDonald's chicken nuggets. Thiamine mononitrate is a synthetic form of vitamin B1, thiamine, or thiamine. I may be mispronouncing it, so might as well look it up. Bear with me. Oh, okay, never mind. Hold on. Thiamine mononitrate. Salakia. Thiamine or thiamine. Salakia. Thiamine. All right. Thiamine mononitrate. All right. No problem. Satan. It's nothing but Satan, man. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and click this.
Thiamine.
Thiamine. Okay, perfect. So back to the post. It says thiamine mononitrate is a synthetic form of vitamin B1. Thiamine is commonly added to processed foods such as a nutrient fortifier, especially in enriched flours. It plays an essential role in energy, metabolism, and nervous system function. However, alarm has been raised due to its industrial applications, including use in some chemical processes like explosives or coatings, which has led to confusion and fear about its safety in food. Right. Okay. So it's a synthetic form of vitamin B1, okay, called Lamla Bashmal Shai. But, that right there lets you know just we're only still around through the grace and the mercy of Yah Bashmal Shai. Okay. As it says in the book of Luke, Lord willing, we can grab that precept. Lord willing, let's grab that precept. Or it's Mark, Salakia, forgive me. The book of Mark 16 and verse 18. And this precept really applies to spiritual power, okay? But we also use it, of course you got to qualify the scriptures, but we also use it in a sense of how, we're consuming this SAD, this standard American diet, you know what I'm saying? And we're still alive, even though our bread is defiled, and really even when you try to eat healthier, okay, you still gotta pick the best out of the poison, man. Ultimately we need the kingdom, but your best bet is to abstain and refrain from certain things and to, you know, cook your own food and take the healthier route if possible. You know what I mean? And this lesson was a admonishment to myself as well, the lesson that the elder Apostle Gabar made. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when I seen the Instagram video, I said, wow, man, it's truly the spirit. Okay. So, that's the Lord telling us something. Okay. This is because remember, those different chemical based foods, you might have been able to eat them for years and decades, but there's gonna come a day and a time where they catch up to you. It's just like smoking cigarettes. You might not die, you smoke one cigarette, but if you habitually smoke cigarettes for years, that's how you develop cancer. Okay? It's the same thing with these foods, man. You know? That's why it's called Food and Drug Administration. All right? And there's a quote that says what? Let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine thy food. But today these foods are used for poison. Okay? So this is Mark 16 and 18. It says, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Right. So, brothers, this precept is talking about the spiritual powers, but we use it to qualify. We qualify it and we use it to go into how we drink deadly things, we consume deadly things in Babylon, and it doesn't hurt us because ultimately, Yahweh Shai is sustaining us, man. It's literally only through the grace and the mercy of the Lord that we're still alive to this very day. Ultimately, we're alive to do the work of the Lord. Okay, but that's why it's important to get on top of your diet. You see, and this is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. It says, and the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their bread defiled among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. You see, so our bread is defiled, man. Here we are in the land of our captivity, and our bread is indeed defiled. You can't even get lawful foods, without having to worry about cross contamination. You know what I mean? And just because something is lawful doesn't always mean it's a healthy option either. So we just need the kingdom, man. That's what it all stems down to at the end of the day. On every side, we need the kingdom. Okay, this is Tobit chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, and when we were carried away captives to Nineveh, all my brethren, and America is modern day spiritual Nineveh, right? Modern day spiritual Syria, modern day spiritual Egypt, Rome, Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon, right? It says, and when we were carried away captives to Nineveh, all my brethren and those that were of my kindred did eat of the bread of the Gentiles. And we see that to this very day. Our own people be the first ones in line to get the pepperoni pizza, get the Italian, get the meat lovers, and all these different defiled foods, the shrimp, the crab, the lobster, the salami, the ham sandwich. That it'd be our own people eating that shit the most, man. Really, the heathen are more on top of their diets than fucking Jake is. A lot of Edomites have better diets than our own people. A lot of Elam, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these heathen eat better than Jake, man. Because these heathen know how severe it is in order to eat healthy foods. And the way that this society is set up, that when you try to take the healthier route, it ends up costing you more money. So that's how you know it's all systematically designed to destroy us, man. And that's why we need the kingdom. We need Yahweh Shemashah to deliver us from this devil, man. But this is Tobit 1 and 10. And when we were carried away captives to Nineveh, all my brethren and those that were of my kindred did eat of the bread of the Gentiles, meaning they eat that defiled food. But I kept myself from eating because I remembered Yahweh Shemashah with all my heart. Right. Okay. You see? So that's the type of spirit we're in. And ultimately, we're doing this in the spirit. Because not only are our people eating the defiled food of the Gentiles, literally, but also spiritually, man. Okay. But Yahweh Shemashah got the spirit on us to refrain from eating these things, man. Literally and spiritually. Because we remember Yahweh Shemashah with all of our heart. Okay. I got a quick precept. This is because the Lord ain't playing, man. Eating defiled foods is against the law, and you can get destroyed just because you love to eat bacon. Absolutely. All right. This is Jeremiah 16, and I'm gonna start at verse. The point really is at verse 18. Okay, so I'll just go straight to the point. It says, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. Talking about these heathen. It says they have filled mine inheritance. Who's the Lord's inheritance? The Israelites. There's a plethora of scriptures proving that. Okay, how Jacob is the rod of his inheritance, so on and so forth. It says they have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses, meaning the dead bodies of their detestable and abominable things. Okay, the Lord spoke about in the book of Isaiah how the broth of abominable things is in their vessels. Isaiah 65 and 4, it says, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels. That's the problem with our people, man. Okay? You see, and they're going to pay for that. Because when you read it in context, it says what? A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face. So the Lord is provoked to anger when he sees you munching down on that that shrimp gumbo, that lobster crab, or what I mean, that pork sandwich. Okay? You're provoking the Lord when he sees that. I remember one time we were on the highways and byways and we had this one dude, he came up scoffing. He eventually came back and apologized, but he came up scoffing, talking about he had like a ham sandwich, and we was like, man, you going off eating that shit. And he was like, I'll shove it down my throat, you know, being rebellious. But really, he didn't, little does he know that provoked the Lord to anger when he said that and when he did that. Okay. And really, I ain't even finna get into all that. That's irrelevant. I was gonna say he when he came back and apologized, it was all with deceit because he came back with another dude trying to play a tough guy. But that's besides the point, man. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 66 and verse 15. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead all with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Right. Okay, so Yahweh Shemashai is going to visit this earth with judgment. And he's going to plead with all flesh. That word plead means to judge. Verse 17, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Right. So anybody caught up eating defiled foods leading up to the day of the Lord, lest you repent, you're going to be destroyed, man. Okay, it is that serious. All right. And if you truly cared about your life, because a lot of these fucking Babylonians are hypocrites, man. They'll say, oh, this isn't good for you. This can cause cancer. This isn't healthy. But yet Jake goes and lives a lifestyle of things that are constantly deteriorating them, man. You know, on many different levels. You know what I mean? But one thing that's bad, they'll say, oh, nah, I'm not gonna mess with this. This isn't safe. This is unhealthy. But they're slowly killing themselves with the lifestyle that they have, with the diet they have, man. Okay, because when you go into that word diet, what the fuck? Slack you. Diet, it says regular food. I'm gonna go straight to the point. It says from Latin, dieta, prescribed way of life. From Greek, dieta, originally way of life, regimen, dwelling. To lead, it says lead one's life, right? So your diet really is a lifestyle, you know. But a lot of our people have unhealthy lifestyles. A lot of our people eat like garbage and they don't even exercise, man. You know, okay? They never do any fasting, you know what I'm saying? They just eat whatever and just sit down and scroll social media all day. You know what I mean? They don't have no physical activity. They're not serving the Lord. So it's just like these type of habits. And then people wonder why they're depressed. They wonder why they feel sluggish. They wonder why they feel sick. It's because they're living a diet or a lifestyle of continual sickness, man. Okay, mentally, physically, spiritually, you know, all around the board. This is Sirach Ecclesiasticus 30 and 25. It says, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Right, man. You know, so we want to be on top of what we're consuming, man. All right. And then it's funny. This comment apparently is from 4 minutes ago. Harmful additives added in the food are worse than the sugar. Well, they're both just as bad. Really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, because it makes your body have a negative reaction to it. And then look what this person says. I think I should be brain dead by now. Exactly, man. We literally are only being sustained by the mercy of the Lord. Okay. You know, everybody on the comments, you know, saying this, that, and the third, man. All right. But there was one guy in the comments earlier that I seen. He said, I'm surprised he didn't drop dead from the stage. Oh, here it is right here. This guy right here. It says, well, no doubt. I'm surprised he hasn't had a heart attack by now, considering he ate the average serving of an American diet. I'm surprised he's moving at all. You see? So if they're saying that about what happened to the rats, how much more these Babylonians who eat these things every day, man? There are people who have McDonald's damn near 7 days a week, man. Believe it or not, in Babylon. Okay? Or some type of form of fast food, you know? And you might think I'm exaggerating, but there's people who really just generally do not give a shit about their diet whatsoever. But then they're gonna wonder why later why they feel like shit. But nonetheless, the point's been made. I'm not gonna, you know, drag this thing out longer than what it has to be. I pray this lesson was edifying. Go ahead and check out the apostles' lesson he made. I'll put the link in the description box. But with that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and others, great Moses, and well. Peace and blessings to the elect nation of Israel. Shalom, Abba, Kwam Yasharallah.